Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 10 Minute Marvel. Today we're going to be talking about the two new trailers that have come out for Brave New World and Thunderbolts. The rumor is we could be getting another trailer, but that will be for next week because it comes out the day after this episode will come out. But we'll talk about that in the news, plus other rumors and any lingering Agatha All Along questions. So, I'm Petter, broadcasting from the Witch's Road, and from WandaVision, we have.
Uh, you took away my thing. From WandaVision, you have the other guy in the manhole who got stuck. And I'll go with my original one. I'm really second guessing that Brazilian now that I got for D23 Brazil, but you make your choices in life. So it's Greg,
Well played.
everybody. Thank you for coming back and checking us out again. Hopefully, you are all well and enjoying this podcast. I'm going to go through the spiel. Here we go. If you are looking for ways to support us, you can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. That's the newest thing we got. You can find and follow us on Facebook and Twix, hashtag 10min Marvel. And of course, you can leave a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from. I'm shooting my web slingers.
All right. Sending it back over to me for the news and rumors. It's actually fairly light on rumors because most of the things kind of categorize as news this week. First off, Marvel Leaks 22 had a rumor that there's going to be an Eternals anime being
Hmm.
worked on.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, I you can obviously that's animated. They would do a fairly different voice cast. I don't think they're going to get Angelina Jolie to do voice work, but I mean,
Yeah.
she has, but not sure for
Contractually, maybe? Does she have
Nah,
to?
I don't think so. Um,
You don't think they would have had a second one in there that they would have?
no, well, like you think about What If. I forget all the characters who aren't voiced by themselves. There's a
Steve,
num Yeah, Steve, Tony.
Bucky?
There's I can't remember. There's a number of them. So I yeah, I fully expect it's going to be a fairly different voice cast, but they'll try and get it close. And honestly, nobody's going to really notice.
I was gonna say, and who cares if it's
Yep.
which way it goes? Yeah.
I'd be excited to see something in anime style animation, and see how they do it, see who writes it
Yeah.
too, because
It,
anime has a different feel to the writing. So,
I think it's a good way to go. I mean,
hmm
if there's not a ton of, well, I guess it is a commitment though from Marvel side to do
hmm
that kind of show, but
But
I think they have a little more
Disney, or
freedom to it, right?
yeah,
Like it, so
yeah, and DC recently did Suicide Squad Isekai, so basically an anime, um, well, exactly an anime, not basically an anime, uh, Suicide Squad anime.
and they did
Um,
Creature Commandos too, right?
that's not that's
Not out yet.
animated.
Oh, it's animated,
That's
not anime.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So I haven't watched the Suicide Squad Isekai yet, but it's on my list too. So I'm hoping that there can be some good translations between US superhero comics and Japanese animation.
Do you have Max? Do you
Uh,
subscribe to Max?
no.
That's where they would show it, right?
Uh,
Or in this
no.
case, no.
No. This case, I'm pretty sure I can watch it on Crunchyroll, which is the big anime uh like streaming service.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm curious. I had it pulled up because I was watching something else. I'm not sure where it is then. Maybe it is Max that has it.
That's all the where the DC property stuff
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably Max and or like the Hulu bundle. So maybe Hulu as well. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Hulu. So I can check
Oh,
it out. But
nice.
that's
You can give me your
DC.
password. Love
Who
it.
cares?
Thanks.
Um, Other rumors, Elizabeth Olsen to return as the Scarlet Witch in Spider-Man 4.
Oh, I
This
haven't
one's
heard that.
Daniel RPK. So, as reputable as a scooper gets, it's like Daniel RPK and My Time to Shine Hello are the top two.
I mean, It's not wouldn't be really shocking.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit surprised just because it feels like they should do a Scarlet Witch movie with kind of everything we're getting with WandaVision, Agatha All Along, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, the Vision show. There's so much Scarlet Witch adjacent or focused stuff
Mm,
that it feels like let's let's give her her own movie.
yeah. I How do you fit it in? There is an
Yeah,
open slot, right?
there's a few.
So
Well, possibly a few. We'll
I
talk about
think,
that.
yeah, do you think movie or TV show?
Movie.
Think so,
If it's,
huh?
yeah,
I don't know. Mm,
I think people would be
does she
excited
deserve
for.
it? Yes.
Yeah.
Does the story, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I'm excited. After, like I was telling you earlier, Petter, I was watching WandaVision over again, and man, I would really love to see some more of Elizabeth Olsen playing Scarlet Witch.
Hmm.
Yeah, she can she can she can really do it all, like
Yeah.
acting wise. So
Yes. And then this one comes from Murphy's Multiverse, so not a location that I'm that familiar with or remotely familiar with, but the actor who was what's his name? Who was in Being John Malkovich, what's his name?
nice,
I'm I'm never
nice
gonna let that
callback.
die.
God, that's so good, isn't it?
Uh,
It's just idiocy gold right there. Idiocy gold.
Yeah, so John Malkovich is rumored to be playing Krigoff in the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. Krigoff is basically a scientist who kind of tries to recreate the conditions and situation of the accident that creates the Fantastic Four and like experiments it with it on monkeys. Um, yeah,
Doesn't he get like a couple large apes out of it or something like that, or
yeah.
gorillas or something? Like,
Yeah, like I think it works to some extent, but I still want to miss the Puppet Master.
yeah, that'd have been good.
Hmm. The Red Ghost and the Super Apes. So yes, you get some apes out of it. I think
You think we'll
his
see those? Do you think you'll like
I think we would. Yeah.
it seems fantastical enough. I mean, not to
Hmm.
be corny about it, but like that's just kind of what I'm picturing that world to be. A
Hmm.
little bit more that nature.
Yes. Yep. Um, that's it for rumors. On to the news.
Ooh,
'Cause
all
there's
right.
a lot of it.
Yeah.
This one, uh, yeah, the What If season three stuff. I think one of them is technically a slight rumor, but maybe confirmed by the other piece of the actual news. Um, so in season three of What If, it's going to include a long anticipated debut of a well-known Marvel character. What character do you think that may be?
I'm gonna go with I was trying to think of something funny, but I couldn't think of anything funny. So Uatu.
Watu's already in What If.
No, I know. Like, oh, I thought you were saying like they have it as like
What If
including
season
his.
will include long anticipated MCU debut of well-known Marvel character.
Oh, I took that as like they're pulling him into the MCU.
No. Well, I
That's how
mean,
I read it.
technically he already is
Well,
because
like
what
out of the animation
animated.
and into
Yeah.
the MCU like
No, no,
cinematic.
this is something in What If season three.
Okay, all right. So a character to debut, that's going to be the Red Guardian.
All right.
I
But
don't know.
he's not debuting in the MCU. He's already in
Oh,
the MCU.
that's right.
All right.
Okay,
Third time's
I'm
a
not
charm.
following the question very well. Okay, let me
So a
try one more
character
time. Third time's a charm.
Yes,
I'm
character
I'm
who
tired today
hasn't been in the MCU at all,
at all.
like in the official MCU. Uh, yes, but will be making their debut in What If season three.
Captain America.
Nailed it.
All right, well, just go on. Who is it? I don't know.
Um, so they didn't say in that. However, since that kind of rumor, that piece of information came out, and that came out from Laughing Place, it has been like we have a voice actress confirmed for Storm, and also I believe Storm will be picking up and like wielding Mjolnir
Oh,
from what's been said as well. So I mean, it seems like that rumor is probably pointing us to the Storm's going to show up.
Sweet.
Yep. I'm like, yeah, sure. Introduce
Absolutely.
whatever X-Men characters you want. And you can, it's multiverse. So
Yeah. Mohawk. She gonna have that
mhm,
mohawk still?
who, who knows? I
Better.
mean, she's going to look different than X-Men 97, which is technically not MCU canon.
Hmm.
But
For now.
for now, yes. I feel like anything's MCU canon because it's multiverse.
Right. Yeah, it's all kind of just divided out that way. So,
Yes. So, another piece of news that came out was from Takashi Yamazaki, the director of Godzilla Minus One, basically indicated that he has met with Marvel on potentially directing something. His quote, I believe, uh, was that Kevin Feige said, "We're having meetings every day to see if we can develop something like that." That most likely being Godzilla Minus One.
mhm. I haven't seen that, but
I need to.
I've heard it's really good.
Hmm.
I'm not one to like go chase those movies like right in the theater when they come out, but
Yeah. It's on
um
Netflix now, so we have no excuse.
oh yeah, that's true. I pay for that stupid service. I should I should
Use
use
it
it
more.
more. Yeah. Uh I have wanted to watch that though, because I've really heard that it's
Hmm.
just really well done and so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
pull in something different, right?
Yeah. What sort of thing do you think he would
Oh, you beat me to
do
the
well
question.
with?
I think he would do well with the Savage Land, only
Ooh,
because he
yeah.
did Gar only did,
Yeah,
Godzilla stuff.
Godzilla.
Um,
I was thinking Annihilation.
mm, okay.
Kind of these monstrous bug type creatures
Yeah.
from another world, universe.
Yeah. I mean, that was a Savage Land was the first one.
Yeah.
Annihilation's good. I like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think a fresh director like that, different
Yeah.
vision, like the way they even
Yeah.
did the shot things, I think it was unique and like not super expensive from what I
Yeah,
understood. Like they,
Godzilla Minus One is a very relatively cheap movie, and
yeah,
I mean very cheap compared
yeah.
to anything that Marvel does.
And
Like,
it's really well planned out, I think too. Like
hmm
he did a he or maybe the crew, everybody involved was creative and they did a really
hmm
interesting and more rounded style of filming. So
yep,
well prepped.
yep. All right, then some Kevin Feige quotes and stuff. With this ties into D23 Brazil, but I'll save the last two
Ugh,
pieces from D23 Brazil for the end of the news. Uh,
yeah,
but.
got bad memories
Mhm.
when you say that.
Kevin Feige has or said that Marvel's output will be three shows and two movies, like moving forward past 2023.
Hmm.
So like five things. I don't know that that includes animation. I think that may be separate from animation,
Hmm.
animation. Yeah, however it's pronounced. So
Yeah,
that I mean that's in line with what I almost said Bob Chapek, but Bob Iger has said.
I think that's a pretty substantial amount. Like, I mean, if
Yes.
I can get three shows in the year and
Hmm.
two sweet movies, awesome.
Well,
Um,
especially if they're doing shows in more of a traditional sense,
hmm
then you're probably looking at 9 to 12 episodes.
true. And I don't know if that includes special presentation stuff or if they mix
Right.
and sprinkle that in.
Hmm.
Yeah, that gives us something to talk about, be
Yes.
excited
Yep.
about, as long as it comes
Yeah.
out on my birthday, something.
Exactly. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
duh.
Yeah. The next one is just kind of a quote. I didn't write down the whole quote on this one, but basically the continued commitment to Blade and to putting out a Blade film with Mahershala Ali.
Wow. I was happy and I was
Hmm.
like, wow, like they addressed it. It's still going, right?
Yep.
Herschel is still involved. I mean, I guess that could all crumble, if it wanted to, but I don't think he would have said something like that.
Yep.
So to kind of squash those rumors, all right, good for you guys.
Yep.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I like that one. And then, uh,
Bring
so
Wanda
this
back in
one,
there. I don't know. Just a
nah,
thought.
yeah, feels like they're gonna do that sooner than that.
Yeah, Blade's further out,
Yeah.
so never mind.
So he must have been asked something around Miles Morales because he said Miles will appear in the third Spider-Verse movie, which is in production. I hope that shortly after that, he can enter the MCU in live action.
I'm sorry, that's the most straightforward answer I think we've
Mhm.
ever received from Kevin Feige on any character. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, he's coming, and I hope
Well,
he's gonna get
no,
him in.
he we hope he's coming. He didn't actually say he's coming. I he says I hope that shortly after that he can enter the MCU live action universe. I think that is completely off the table until Sony's done with their Spider-Verse stuff.
I suppose I think I meant like just that Miles Morales is happening, right?
Yeah,
And
it seems like obvious it should
now wait, were they
happen.
talking about the Into the Spider-Verse or were they talking about let's say Spider-Man, which Spider-Man?
So he says Miles will appear in the third Spider-Verse movie, which is in
Okay.
production.
Okay.
So once that Spider-Verse movie is done and Sony doesn't have any active plans for Miles, I think that's gonna put Miles on the table for like even starting the conversation
Okay.
about getting him into live action.
I gotta read these more carefully.
hmm
I
Well, and I
was
think that a lot of people didn't read that one super carefully because it showed up in a lot of places and people are like, woohoo! And I'm like,
yeah,
but it's worded basically as it's not a possibility right now, but hopefully soon.
it's kind of funny. You read what you want to read, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, because I was thinking, oh, he's gonna show up in a Spider-Man movie or like the next Spider-Man. I don't know how I missed the Spider-Verse, but or the and that trilogy that's happening. So okay, I
Yes.
stand well corrected again.
Yeah, and then this other quote I think is another one that people potentially have misconstrued as well, but that the X-Men will be important to the MCU after the events of Avengers Secret Wars. I think that a lot of people read that as, oh, they're going to play a part in Avengers Secret Wars and then will be like really important to the continuation of the MCU. That's not what was said there.
How do you interpret that?
Uh, how I interpret it is that after Secret Wars, we're going to get kind of the expected mutants phase or phases.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Avengers versus X-Men. Maybe that's how it's gonna.
I don't think they're going to do that right away. I
Well,
think they're
probably
going
not
to,
right away, but
yeah.
like that's the importance of them, right? That's you'll lean into their story and learn more about the X-Men,
Mhm.
but then it's going to come around to being,
Avengers
hey,
versus, yeah. But I could see that not being the big bad for like the next couple phases. Like we wouldn't be, it maybe would be the thing that ends like phase nine.
you think it'll last that long? Like I'm kind of wondering, like if they did Avengers versus X-Men, do they feel like they're going to be at the point of burnout for that superhero fatigue that everybody kind of talks about now and again? But like, I don't know.
It-
I'm hoping
Everybody
not,
talk,
obviously,
yeah.
but I just kind of wonder, like, get the big stuff
Eventually,
out.
eventually the bubble's going to burst, but you can't force, you don't want to force the bubble bursting by trying to push too many really huge things immediately.
Agreed. I'm
And
thinking it's not like so much in Marvel's hands as just as in the industry's
mhm,
ebb and flow of how things,
yeah.
you know, are wanted or what people want to see.
hmm
So
Yeah. But I think even then it is still somewhat in Marvel's hand and it's somewhat I get with James Gunn's DC stuff. He's not pushing it to like rush to big things either. So I think that with the superhero stuff that's going on, they're all comfortable plotting it out and playing it slower.
mm, play the long game.
hmm Well, I think they learned a little bit from Star Wars of like don't dump out movies on a regular cadence if you're not completely sure and like you haven't done that. I'm not sure that Star Wars has taken that advice, but Kevin Feige and James Gunn seem like they're very smart when it comes to this sort of thing and are going to push back hard
Yeah.
against. So that's the Kevin Feige stuff. And then, of course, there were two new trailers from Brazil D23 or D23 Brazil. One new one for Brave New World, which really is not that far away. We're what, 3 months away? F-
February?
yeah, February 14th.
And there's another trailer maybe for that one yet?
I would think there'd be another trailer for that. Yeah,
I
not
can't
sure
imagine it's
when.
gonna be much. Like the what they have in there right now, it's almost like they it seemed like they kind of flushed out the story a little bit
Hmm.
more. You get a few more answers.
Hmm.
So if we want to spoil some of those answers, I mean,
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And it's it's not a spoiler if you haven't watched the trailer, just
watch the trailer.
yeah, know that it's in there. If you don't want to know what's in the trailer, skip ahead. I mean, probably 10, 15 minutes. Well, probably 10 minutes. And we'll be done talking about both of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But Brave New World and Thunderbolts both getting trailers.
Brave New World had a more unique look to it than it did in the first go round. Like the way
Hmm.
they portrayed the movie, they definitely portrayed it as like kind of a thriller espionage,
Yes. Yep.
right? They really leaned into that Manchurian Candidate style. It was some new footage of Cap.
Hmm.
I don't know. It got me back kind of on board, I guess. I
Hmm.
think I think after hearing about some of the initial reviews, which is not really fair to it, but like it kind of scared me when I started hearing that people were like, this movie's kind of a mess and whatnot. It doesn't seem like it is a mess to me, per this trailer, anyways.
Yeah. No.
So,
Yeah. And they are doing more reshoots.
oh, are
Uh,
they?
Giancarlo Esposito has confirmed that he's going in for some more reshoots
Okay.
of stuff, which I'm just assuming is continuing to flesh out and kind of build out his role as the
Yeah.
head of the Serpent Society.
Yeah. Wonder if anybody else is going in, like where
Yeah.
they need to have Mackie or Harrison Ford come back or something like that and
Hmm.
do. Um,
But yeah,
but
it.
that's okay. Like I've come to terms with that. Like it doesn't scare me so much anymore because I'm just thinking like as you go through and you're editing this massive film, you get to a point where like something doesn't work right there. So let's fill it in and let's make it make sense and have
Yep.
people come back and redo it, right? So like it's a it's a good thing and positive thing. Can be a negative thing too, but it doesn't scare me as much as when
Hmm.
I usually hear it.
Well, and generally reshoots, I feel like Marvel has used them to make stuff better. The only case where that may not be true is Secret Invasion,
Excuse me?
but
What? I don't know
yeah,
what you're talking about.
but Secret Invasion had the bigger problem of a chunk of the plot had to be cut.
Yeah.
Like they had to cut so much plot with the Skrulls posing as Russian troops invading Ukraine. For obvious reasons, they pulled that, but also, was that the right call? Maybe not for the show.
Yeah. No comment. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too bad. I was really excited for that show. Really
Hmm.
was. Anyways, um,
Yeah.
what else did you see in that Brave New World that
On
was
Brave New
stood out?
World, we got more, I feel like, of the leader,
Yep.
just in terms of dialogue, and more Sabra.
hmm I was trying to remember who that was, and
Hmm.
Sabra is the first Israeli. No,
Yeah.
is that right?
Israeli mutant.
Yep.
She is part so in the comics, she's part of Israel's kind of CIA group. I forget what it's called. I should know. But yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head what it's called. But here it looks like she's working in the US government.
What's her power again? Do you remember what her is it just like strength, speed, something like that? Or
I don't remember. I'm pulling it up right now. Her powers and abilities: superhuman strength, speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, basically super soldier-esque type stuff with some regeneration, but not like Wolverine or Deadpool level.
okay. So not necessarily in the was she a super soldier serum that like maybe
No, she's a mutant.
okay, so all right. Not like yeah, not something the leader had concocted at some point in time.
Possibly, and it
I
could be they
mean,
change it
right,
too.
that's true.
So who knows on that one? We got to see more of. Well, actually, I like how the trailer started out too, where you get to see kind of the aftermath, or like, and not the short-term aftermath, but just like the long term of Isaiah Bradley's in prison
Mm,
and Sam's trying to figure it out.
yeah.
And I think confirmation of five other people who were activated, or five including Isaiah.
Oh, I have to
But
watch
there was
again.
some line like that.
I really, yeah. It feels like they're like Isaiah Bradley's character is meant to like either be in this kind of like obviously he's in prison, but like being in this shameful sense, or he is just so disheartened by it,
Hmm.
that it's almost like I just don't care anymore. Like this is what America is. This is the way they've always treated me. So it kind of has ringing the same theme that it had in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which landed really well, I think. So,
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
excited to see
well,
how that character
yeah.
develops.
And it makes sense because you see him at the speech. So, like, he has obviously kind of been brought back to the forefront and probably brought back to the forefront in, like, yeah, you weren't treated like you should have been.
Hmm.
And then he gets activated and they immediately treat him like they did before.
Yep.
So,
And do you think he survives?
I think so.
I think that his death activates his
Oh, Patriot?
son. Yeah,
Yeah. His
nephew.
nephew? Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
But not that I want that, but or maybe it's more of like, Patriot becomes more of a presence because his grandfather's in prison and
Hmm.
so I'd rather have that honestly, because I don't want Isaiah Bradley's character to go away.
Yeah. Yeah. What else stood out to
Um,
you?
some of I really hope they didn't show up all the moves that Sam has with
Yeah.
his helmet and his wings and the shield and like, man, they're like
That
they
flip
stepped it up.
cutting
Stepped
through the car with the wing.
Yeah, super cool. So,
Yes.
but I'm just hoping that they're not showing it all to get people excited for the
Hyped. Yeah.
movie. Yeah, and then there's nothing left to
Hmm. I
provide,
mean, I think at least with the, like the mask or the helmet, I think that most people probably miss that even in the trailer. It's real fast.
Yeah, it almost looks like Ant-Man, but
Hmm.
nanotech seems
Hmm.
like maybe.
Yeah. Seems like most super soldiers or most heroes have access to that either via Stark, US government
Yeah,
now with confiscating Stark tech or the Wakandans.
yeah. Speaking of government,
Hmm.
we got Allegra Fontaine.
Hmm.
We have confirmation of now who bought the tower.
And this is moving on to the Thunderbolts trailer.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's jumping. Sorry, I watched them
Yeah.
both back to back.
As did I. I
Don't
kept
let's
them
not move
separate.
on yet. Hold on.
All
Let's
right.
let's pull that out. More
The
Red
reporter.
Hulk.
Yep. More Red Hulk, more transformation. Reporter being like, I thought they were green.
Yeah. And how like I love how everything's just on fire on him because he's so angry, right?
Hmm.
I'm curious to see how is it the leader that shifts him into that? Is it so like unknowingly Harrison Ford
So,
Ross is it,
according to Lego press release around
oh
Lego sets that are
Lego,
coming out, yes, the leader is the one who causes it, causes the Red Hulk.
which makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of what we all expected. We didn't necessarily think, I mean, Thunderbolt Ross has already willingly put one person through this and saw how it went.
Yeah,
So I don't think he would willingly put himself through it, especially if he has plans to be president.
right. It totally makes sense. I agree. But damn it, Lego, come on,
I know.
keep it under wraps.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
trying to think if anything else stood out to me.
Um, not
Yeah,
much, not a ton of Falcon that I recall,
nope.
but there was some.
Yeah,
Maybe,
like one shot in the sky and then one shot on the deck of a aircraft carrier maybe
yeah,
or some battleship with Sam.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it for me. On to
Hmm.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
All right,
Thunderbolts.
now let's talk about Allegra.
Hmm. Val.
Uh,
Val bought Avengers Tower, which I mean, it would make sense that she would do that, especially if she has designs of creating her own Avengers-esque team.
right, but
She's that.
where was she hiding this money from? From Ross, Agent Ross.
Mhm. I wonder if we're going to find out about because they definitely implied in Falcon and the Winter Soldier that she knew more about Zemo and had connections maybe to him,
Mm.
at least to some extent. So is he kind of the person bankrolling
Oh, is he
some of
funding
this?
it? Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense, right? There's that
yeah,
asterisk, maybe, or not, maybe not the asterisk, but
yeah.
like that's that missing player that
Hmm.
they haven't said anything about yet, which
Yeah,
thankfully, because Zemo needs to be involved, I feel.
yeah,
I want Zemo back.
yeah. If not Zemo, it seems like they have to have somebody else who is bankrolling some of it, and I'm not sure. I mean,
Norman?
I Norman would make a lot of sense, but that's Sony.
Yeah.
Justin Hammer.
Oh yeah, please.
I feel like Justin Hammer would make a ton of sense
Who's
too.
got more money? But I mean, I
Well,
know Zemo's got a lot of money like stored
yeah,
away, like
family
in
money.
family money, right?
Yeah,
Either are good for me.
yeah,
Either, yeah,
yeah. And we know that Norman doesn't like Oscorp isn't
yeah,
something in the MCU, so
yeah.
he wouldn't make sense unless there's like, yeah, it's through the multiverse or it's something crazy like that.
They wire
Actually,
transfer money through the multiverse.
what if it's this would be the most wild thing, but what if it's the maker? So instead of having like the Fantastic Four coming from another universe, what if Reed Richards in our universe, because with the maker, he's almost always wearing his helmet. So you could have whoever do that and get Pedro Pascal to do voice work for it.
Oh man, that'd be
That would be like that would like get me real excited if that happened.
it's it'd be so out of the blue. I feel like
Hmm.
not many people would see that coming.
Yes. And like that would have to be a post-credit scene.
Yeah, and maybe too confusing.
Maybe. Though it sounds like one of the rumors I've heard for Fantastic Four is we could be getting the Council of Reeds.
Oh,
So if that happens and they're planning on introducing a whole bunch of different Reed Richards there,
okay.
in the next movie, sure. Like as a post-credit scene of Val talking to somebody after everything's gone sideways, as I'm sure it's going to in the Thunderbolts, that could be fun.
Yeah. It's weird to think about. Like I have to always step back for a moment and be like, not everybody like, invests as much time as you and I and the people that we kind of follow and read about on
And
all
you
these
who listen to
characters.
us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
So they,
don't know nearly as much as probably our listeners do. So I just think to make these movies and shows, it's like, oh yeah, they probably can't do such deep cuts with like the maker without losing some people and being like,
mhm.
what? What?
But they did the same thing with the Guardians in terms of like deep cut comic characters that were not popular comic
Oh,
characters
that's true.
prior to the
But they were the
films.
main characters. And I don't think you can't, I think that's how it works when you can develop them. But when it's like a more of a
Yeah.
background post-credit scene or just like a minor character, it's
Hmm.
harder to do that with
Yeah.
and keep an audience engaged.
Hmm. But I think with this one, um, because people will recognize Pedro Pascal's voice and they know he's coming up as Reed, like it doesn't for it it can be the maker. Like if you know the comics, you know it's the maker and maker is evil Reed Richards. Um, but for people watching, they don't need to know who the maker is. They just need to recognize Pedro Pascal's voice and be like, oh, that's a version of Reed Richards who's funding all of this.
Yeah, yep. The multi-versions of people
Hmm.
definitely helps in that situation.
Hmm. And so
So,
I think that would be simple enough, but I get where you're coming from, the
yeah,
too. It's like you have to balance it somewhat, and like we saw how it worked or didn't work, or due to extenuating circumstances, couldn't work with Kang too.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but what else do you
Um,
have from that trailer? We haven't really talked much besides Val getting
yeah.
the tower.
Nothing major from like Bob. Bob was kind of
Hmm.
I love
Same
how he
thing.
just kind of seems like duh, a little bit out of it.
Yeah,
Um,
he seems very stoner.
yeah, it does. I think a little more personality comes out of
Well, two characters, I would say.
yeah,
I
Johnny
think,
Mayonnaise.
Yep, and Ghost.
And oh yeah, you get some ghosts, right?
Hmm.
Yelena, you get a little
Yeah.
bit more from her, but
Well, she's always had a lot of personality,
yeah,
where so it's just getting to see her character, which we basically all already like, uh, continue to do her thing.
yeah.
Whereas Johnny Walker or Johnny Mayonnaise and Ghost, like how many people even remember Ghost
Hmm.
fully at this point in time? So
Yeah, what kind of spin are they gonna do on Secret Agent? What Secret Agent? Why does that sound right? Is that right? What's this? What's Johnny
U.S.
Mayonnaise?
Agent,
U.S. Agent. There we go. I was like something agent. Um,
Agents of Shield, Johnny
Agents of
Mayonnaise,
Orange. I don't know. Um,
Agent Venom.
Agent Carter? No. Um, how are they gonna spin? Like, is he gonna be still that kind of dark? Like he killed somebody with the shield, for God's sakes, right? Like, what are
Mhm.
they? How are they gonna handle that? That's what I'm kind of curious about. Are they gonna just give more of a some comedic role, like lines and
No, because in the first trailer, like we see him very like disheveled, depressed looking. He and his wife now have a kid, or they might have
mm,
had the kid, or been expecting the kid, I forget, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we kind of see him there kind of looking at the news and looking real depressed.
yeah,
So I think that he's still trying to figure out a way to redeem himself because they really built it up as like they built it up interestingly with this character. I thought in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where
yeah.
he's not
It's an,
he's not just a bad guy.
it's an internal struggle that
Hmm.
that's
It from PTSD
yeah,
too. So like there's a lot going on because
yeah.
he's doing a whole lot better until his grounding force dies.
I think he's one of the more interesting characters, or will be the one of the more interesting characters in that movie.
Hmm.
If they keep
Yeah.
that thread line going.
Yeah, like he's a character that unless they have future plans for him, that could do the never quite is able to be a good guy until the very last moment when he sacrifices himself to save Bob, everybody, take down Val, whatever it might be.
Right.
Like he
Yeah.
gives up his life to save everybody, or yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Um,
More of the limousine,
yeah.
which you see on the side, it was like Red Guardian something. Like it's his limousine that he's must be just like renting it out and chauffeuring people
Yeah.
around Vegas or something.
Although he's got it kind of decked out with what he assumes to be some sort of assault weapons, and they're
Well,
just
I think he has something in there.
yeah.
He just has a whole bunch of different switches, and it's probably just been pure luck that he hasn't accidentally like fired an assault weapon on the Las Vegas Strip
Hmm.
before now.
So we also in that sequence, it's like
Mhm.
there's people chasing them
Yeah.
in the limousine, and it appears that Bucky is coming up and almost saving them from these. I
Mhm.
don't know if there's military or who it is,
Yeah,
Black
probably
Ops
Val's
team.
people.
Yeah. Well, but he
We
takes those people out. So it seems like he's getting rid of those people, and now he is there representing or there on behalf of Val, and he's working for Val and takes them to her. That's how I kind of interpreted that.
it's I mean that's how they edited it.
Right. But
It's
at
real.
first we thought that there was just Bucky going after them, but
Mhm.
Bucky ends up like helping them, but then the tables,
But then
like
going after
turns.
them still.
Yeah. Yep. So he's getting these other people out of the way so he could get on up first.
Yep.
So maybe maybe he's doing his own thing, or maybe
Mhm.
yeah, he's with Val.
Yeah, or this could be an argument for Zemo if he somehow
Oh,
activates Winter Soldier again.
or he's just working with Zemo because maybe there's something that Zemo, he's got a play of some kind, and I don't know.
Hmm.
That'd be interesting. It's not like Bucky's under any sort of like,
Yeah.
he hasn't been activated necessarily, but he's
Mhm.
in his mind, if he helps Zemo, like he kind of got to know Zemo a little bit, right, from
Yep.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So as much as he doesn't want to work with them, maybe he has to for some reason.
Yeah.
And so I like
Well,
Zemo
because
coming in. I like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, granted, we haven't heard any like casting that he's going to be back, but that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good surprise, I think. That'd be fun.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so
There actually just, it didn't feel like there was a ton in this trailer.
it was filled in, like they filled in some like a little bit more of the story, I feel like.
A little
S-
bit, but not much.
So do you
Because
think, yeah, do you think that they all go for Bob first
seems
and
like
then
it.
they leave and then Bucky finds them and then Val?
Hmm.
Or and then they find out that Val all sent them there and her
Yeah, well, I
plans
think
never
they
developed.
probably put it together, and this could lend credence to the idea that Val is the one who sent Bucky, because if she's like, they just didn't do what they were supposed to do, or they weren't didn't, I'm sure she didn't tell Bucky this. She probably told him it's like this, you have to go take out this Russian spy or something like that
Hmm.
because he'd probably believe that with his background and being the Red Guardian and everything like that. That I wonder if it was a uh, the three characters we see um, in the bunker, Ghost, Yelena, and John Walker, were all sent there separately. Maybe Taskmaster shows up. I think Taskmaster does show up there as well.
Hmm.
We saw that in the first trailer. And then they start to go on the run, and John Walker is like the one who tags along with Elena. Maybe they are the two who put it together that Val sent both of them. They're kind of pitting them against each other. And they're basically trying to find somebody who can help them. So Elena goes to her dad, and then Val sends Bucky after the Red Guardian, basically in an attempt to take out the loose ends that she was hoping would be taken out and have dealt with Bob for her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It doesn't feel to me that we got that far into the movie. This feels like all first 30-minute stuff that we
It
saw,
kind of, yeah, I agree. It does feel that way. Um,
which I like.
hmm Because yeah, don't there just seems like a whole bunch more of the movie that's still
Hmm.
there. So I don't know. I think I'm trying to gauge like are these gonna just be like, hey, these were okay, or
Hmm.
are they gonna have factors to them that really are like, wow, that was a really fun, well done movie, action packed, funny,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
action packed and dramatic and a thriller and I'm just kind of wondering if they're
Hmm.
really gonna hit those high notes. Or if
Yeah.
they're just going to be like, hey, that
Really
was all right.
strong movies. Like, I mean, they're going to be fun superhero movies from what I can tell. I'm not really concerned about either of them feeling like a dud, but is I don't know that I can see either of them pushing into that upper echelon.
Yeah.
Like, do I think anything's going to be like a Spider-Man No Way Home, a whatever your top movies are? It's probably neither of them are going to be top 10 Marvel movie, but if they can fall into that 15 to 20 range, that's still a very strong movie,
Yeah.
an enjoyable one.
I wonder if that was some really good post credits. They feel like they should.
I don't know that either of them will though, because I don't think they feel like they should.
I feel
I
like they
feel
need to lead into what's coming.
No, I don't think these are going to
Mm.
nearly as much. I think we're going to get that in Fantastic Four. I'm trying to think, like I said, with the Maker, if they were to pull something like that off in a post-credit scene, sure, that leads well into something. But I think they're trying to avoid, for lack of a better term, some of that. Some of the expectation that people have of there's going to be a post-credit scene, it's going to be huge, and it's going to be the thing that we talk about more than the actual movie.
Mm. I don't want it to be that. So I was thinking
Hmm.
more just a really good, like, oh, that's going to be kind of cool. Like
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of an example of one. Um,
Well, for let's say,
like the Young Avengers drop that they had in Ms. Marvel or the
uh,
Marvels,
yeah,
you know.
I was going to say, why not a Hulk versus Red Hulk like meeting of each other, or like a Hulk getting mad or frustrated seeing a Red Hulk Thunderbolt Ross in the news, something like that, where it could be like, okay, that's setting up some Hulk face-off at some point in time.
Yeah.
But when that happens, who knows? Could be Secret Wars, could be Avengers 7, 8, nine, 10.
Right.
It
That
doesn't
Ruffalo
matter.
movie that he's wanted so long.
It doesn't matter. It's just it will happen when it happens, if it happens, sort of thing. And it doesn't even have to be a whole movie or anything like that that it's setting up. Just
Yeah.
a, hey, we're gonna have this fun moment thing. Thunderbolts, I think, is trickier unless, and this would be the type of end credit scene that they would shoot late, like without people having seen, like anybody who's seen the pre thing would not see this end credit scene. It would get added on real late. Would be if you wanted something real big, have Bob take the place of Molecule Man
Mm, really? You think that why Molecule Man? I don't know.
in
It
turn.
seems like I mean,
It
if
would
you're
just it'd be something big that would tie directly into Doomsday and Secret Wars. It would give the character of Bob something to do going forward that thus far from watching the trailers for Thunderbolts, thankfully we can't discern.
that's it. Yeah. I see where you're
I,
going with that.
yeah.
And it's yeah, like right, because what do you do with Sentry otherwise? I
hmm
mean,
Now, you
I
just
just
don't, yeah, you don't have to set anything up at all if you don't want to.
I just don't know what you do with Sentry in general. Like
Yep.
maybe you just get rid of him.
hmm
Otherwise, or I guess he does have a role though, doesn't he? In Secret Wars, he's got a role, doesn't he?
No.
Does he go and help destroy? No, I don't know. He's so powerful. I just don't know whatever.
Yep.
Um, I was thinking more like along just to dip a little bit of my toes into that Screen Crush video I talked about last week, the
hmm
What's Next. Ryan Airy was talking about Wanda is the replacement of the Molecule Man
Yeah.
because of what powers she possesses.
hmm
Kind of
Well, and it would
the
make perfect sense if you have a Doctor Doom who has a wonderful understanding of the multiverse to snatch her out of there at the last second to use
right.
her.
He like absorbs. I feel like he was saying Ryan Airy was saying how they would absorb Doom would absorb her powers and make him,
Yeah. I'm not buying the idea that he'd absorb her powers, but to like grab her as she has been like clocked on the head by a giant stone and knocked out, and to basically harness her powers to be able to use, that makes more sense to me.
uh, the reason why, well, I'll let you watch the video. Maybe you watch the video and then next week we talk about a little bit of the
What's
theory
next?
that,
Yeah.
yeah, that theory that he had. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Uh,
hmm
so it's a topic.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Anything, the last thing on Thunderbolts here?
Uh, no, I don't think so.
All right. So, main topic is very loosely any last Agatha All Along stuff we wanted to talk about. Kind of wrap
I
it up.
Yeah, I think just yeah, we don't got much on this because I had a couple of kind of thoughts. I started rewatching WandaVision just to kind of compare and put it up against Agatha and to
hmm
see how those kind of flowed together or didn't necessarily flow together, but like how they did up against each other.
hmm
And one of the things that I'm really just seeing WandaVision again is it's pretty remarkable. Like it's interesting how at first it starts off kind of slow and then it really just builds. And these awkward moments that happens inside that show, they're
hmm
truly just like I don't know, they're really awkward. Like when Vision is like kind of popping in and out of the understanding of what's going on. I don't know. It was all just done really well. Back to Agatha. Agatha, I had the question of did Tommy where has Tommy been? Like, and
hmm
so we kind of talked about this a little bit before starting this recording, but I was just curious to know, like, in the conversation that was happening between Agatha and Billy when they were in the final um,
Trial area.
trial. Yep. Agatha mentions that it's pretty much inside, like there's she was having Billy look for Tommy and to look for a body for Tommy, and like the visual of it is Billy. I couldn't tell if he was seeing Tommy or if seeing what Tommy was seeing, but it was like this really dark space that had some
hmm
redness here and there. I wasn't sure if that was like Tommy floating around, like lost his soul, his entity is like lost or what. But you were saying that you thought it was that Tommy was actually kind of attached to Billy the whole time in a way. Like he
Hmm.
was kind of encased inside of him. And so Billy let him out and then gave him a new body. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I don't know if that's exactly what happened.
Hmm.
It does make sense, but it also kind of was thinking like Tommy never landed. Like Billy
Yeah,
landed inside of
William.
William's body, but Tommy was kind of just in this nether
Hmm.
region, is what I was originally thinking. And
Yeah.
then
Well,
Billy navigated him.
mhm. And the implication is that Billy could do that because of his powers. He could
Mhm.
land somewhere, but it was only using his powers could Tommy land
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Hmm.
Um, I also I'm trying to think what article it was now. From in the direct.com, we got confirmation on the big question that was driving me nuts.
Didn't bother me at all.
Oh, not at all. Of course. It was killing me because it was kind of like the most outstanding question and like it's almost like the heart of the show in a sense as to why Agatha could not and did not want to face
Hmm.
Nicholas, her son.
Yeah.
And
And I
hence
think,
also why she's a
yeah,
ghost. But
yeah. And I think the reason it didn't bother me so much is if you listen to my explanation of why I thought it was uh last episode and what Greg's going to read out here, I think they're similar in terms of what I said and what Jack Schaefer says. Jack Schaefer definitely says it much clearer and more concisely than I did.
yeah, it was yeah, it both were in the vein of like having remorse for something, right?
Hmm.
And I just couldn't figure out what the true essence of that remorse was. But here's what she said, quoting Jack, and this is in the direct.com article. Uh, she says it's both. It's the fact that she couldn't save him, that she couldn't find the knowledge or the power to save him, and it's the fact that he's always lean good. He didn't want to kill witches. He didn't want to live her lifestyle. Instead of rehabilitating herself on his and sorry, instead of rehabilitating herself on his death, she doubled down and as you said, she used his song to become essentially a mass murderer. I think there's
Hmm.
so much shame in that. And so
Yep.
that it's like I just had this sense of relief, like, oh, I get it now. Like I understood but now I truly get it, like
Yeah.
what that was. And so that tied the bow on the show for me and just made it all that much better. So
Hmm. Yeah, I think that is a really good. It's there in the show, so you can pick it up while watching on it. But if you don't, I think it's a really good clarification and just really helps kind of settle that final episode, which I think was a little bit unexpected for some people
yeah.
to have the final episode basically be all flashback, but to really get this idea of the song was something special that she and Nicholas had created together. And upon his death, in her moment of grief, she abuses that song that was so special to the two of them. And it wasn't special because they were using it to hunt down or like to trick witches or anything like that. It was special because they had created it together,
Mhm.
and now she's using it to do something that he didn't like doing.
Right. Yeah. Ah, poetic.
Hmm.
Well done, Jack.
Hmm.
I don't think I had much else other. I think it was just those kind of two afterthoughts. I guess one was a thought and one was
Hmm.
just this now realization. So I'm super glad that I found that out.
Hmm.
How about you? Anything else that
Um, so one thing, and I didn't toss this in the rumors because I haven't seen anything that remotely substantiates that Marvel's even vaguely thinking of this idea of Agatha All Along season two, but it's much like how people were like, "Oh, we'd love a WandaVision season two," after everybody loved WandaVision so much. But I don't want an Agatha All Along season two because the whole point of the season we got is that the Witch's Road and this whole idea, this kind of self-fulfilling, self-created situation is because it was Agatha all along. You can't really recapture that.
Right.
Much like you can't recapture Wanda creating another hex and sticking people in it and that feeling like it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm good with Catherine Hahn and Agatha coming back and continuing their journey. Along
Mhm.
with, with Billy and in there. But I don't need the same thing. Just
But
continue the story somehow.
yeah, continue the story through the eyes of the characters who need the story to continue.
Hmm.
So that's not Agatha anymore.
Right.
That's Tommy. That's Vision. That's Wiccan
Yeah.
or Billy. So, like, those are the characters who have more story and story around them to tell. Agatha can be a part of those stories, much as like she was part of the story, and she was the antagonist of one of the antagonists of WandaVision. So yeah, don't try to ask for more more candy when you know it's going to hurt your stomach
Yeah.
after Halloween.
A lesson
That's
we've
my
all learned
analogy.
in this household as of late.
Yes. So I'm very much on the mindset of that I don't need another season of this. I don't want another season of this. This was not a show that was created for that. And I don't think the Vision show is gonna be a show created for that either. But I
Yeah.
do think they should be working on creating a Young Avengers show to do that, to give us multiple seasons.
Hmm. I'm excited to see if what Jack Schaefer and who was with her again? Who was the guy?
Oh,
Matt Chapman Shackman.
yes.
Right? Just and the team of people that were on these WandaVision and
And
Agatha. I
so
would
it
love to
wasn't Matt Shackman on, so it was just Jack Schaefer
on Wanda.
on, no, on Agatha.
Oh, okay. He wasn't on. Okay.
He was
Okay.
on WandaVision. He wasn't on Agatha.
Then still, I would
Yes.
like to just I would like to see them team up again
Hmm.
and create something because they have a good thing going in
Hmm.
whatever way whatever way they see stories and create stories and it's good. It's magic.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd love to see them, the combination or just Jack Schaefer, take that stab at doing that Scarlet Witch movie.
Mm. Yeah.
Be like, you've proved yourself with two amazing shows. Now she's not doing Vision, which is interesting, but they did bring in a good showrunner for that.
Right. I just think there's a lot, I don't know, there's a lot of depth to Wanda
Hmm.
and so yeah, I
Well,
think
and
Jack
they
Schaefer can fulfill that.
hmm and they talked about this some on, I think, the final like live break room after show for uh, Agatha All Along. Just how sometimes, like, sometimes you can tell when a woman is writing
Oh yeah.
another woman's character, and just that large bit of extra knowledge they have
Hmm.
for writing that sort of character. And I think that they did obviously, she did a very good job with that. And
Right.
does that mean that she can then translate it over perfectly again? Probably not, but it's certainly a great spot to start
Hmm.
if they want to.
Agreed.
Yeah. But with that, that was what we had for today. Let us know your thoughts, especially on the two trailers. Which one did you like best? We're going to next week be talking about the Screen Crush theory, and maybe we'll see. I think New Rockstars maybe has one as well about where things are going, but we'll talk through those or that one at least kind of as our main topic and spin some of our own ideas as to what maybe makes sense, what questions we or what we like and don't like about the theory. So that will be next week. And then towards the end of this year, we're going to be talking about, and I want to spend time talking about everything that's coming up next year since there's so much and we're going to hit the ground running
Mm.
as we get close to that. So expect more conversation about that. And we really do thank you all for listening. Greg gave a few ways you could help support the podcast at the beginning, but we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerdologists. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast, as well as the Melts and Meeples YouTube channel, 10 Minute Marvel YouTube channel, and nerdologist.com website. But with that, I'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.